Hi, my friend. I'm Wendy, and I'm really glad you are here today. I want to share something very honest with you. There was a time when I worked very hard. I tried to do everything right. I learned more, I pushed myself more, and I thought that if I just tried harder, things would change. But they didn't. I felt tired and a little lost, because no matter how much I did, my life still looked the same. And I know some of you may feel this too. That is why I want to share this episode. Not because I have all the answers, but because I have been through this feeling. And I slowly started to understand something important. Sometimes the problem is not that we don't try enough. Sometimes we are just trying in the wrong place. In this episode, I want to share a few simple ideas that helped me see things more clearly. I hope it can help you pause, reflect, and maybe find a better direction for yourself. So if you are feeling stuck or tired, or just a little unsure about your path right now, this episode is for you. Let's begin. Have you ever felt that you are trying really hard but still not moving forward? You wake up early, you work more, you push yourself every day, but somehow nothing really changes. Maybe the problem is not your effort. Imagine this. You have a map and you walk every day without stopping. You are disciplined, you are consistent, but your direction is wrong. So every step you take only takes you further away from your destination. Sometimes we are not failing. We are just moving in the wrong direction. Let's make it more real. You work long hours every day. You try to become excellent at your job. But this job does not lead to the life you truly want. Deep inside, what you really want is freedom, a different kind of life. So every day, you are winning the game of recognition. But slowly, you are moving further away from freedom. Have you ever felt like this? You study a lot. You take courses, watch videos, and read books. You feel like you are growing, but you never use what you learn in real life. You are playing the game of feeling progress, but not the game of real change. Or does this sound familiar? Your schedule is always full. Meetings, emails, and small tasks. You feel busy. You feel productive. But when you stop and look closely, nothing really changes in your life. You are playing the game of being busy, but not the game of creating impact. And sometimes it is even deeper. You say yes to everyone. You do what people expect. You want everyone to like you. And they do, but inside you feel lost. Why? Because you are playing the game of being liked, not the game of being yourself. Do you see the pattern? In all these moments, you are trying, you are putting in effort, but the direction is not right. That is why more effort does not help. It only makes you more tired. So maybe today, instead of asking, should I try harder? Try asking a different question. Am I in the right place? Because here's the truth. You are not stuck because you do not try enough. You are stuck because you are trying in the wrong direction. And sometimes, one small change in direction can change everything. There is a big difference between being busy and moving forward. Many people are busy, but they are not going anywhere. They repeat the same effort every day, like a wheel spinning in the mud. They use a lot of energy, but nothing really changes. Why? Because their effort is not growing. It is only repeating. So how can you change this? There is one simple idea. It is called leverage. What is leverage? Imagine you want to move a very heavy rock. You push with your hands, but it is too heavy. Your effort is not enough. But if you use a long metal bar, a lever, you can move the rock more easily. Same effort, bigger result. That is leverage. It is something that helps your effort grow. Without leverage, your work is linear. You work 1 hour, you get 1 result. You work 10 hours, you get 10 results. When you stop working, everything stops. But your time and energy are limited. So your growth will always be slow. With leverage, things change. For example, if you work alone, you can only do one task at a time. But if you work with a team, many tasks can happen at the same time. Your result grows faster. Or think about what you create. If you teach one person for 1 hour, your work ends when the hour ends. But if you create a simple course or ebook, many people can learn from it at the same time. You create it once, but it keeps giving value again and again. Even when you rest, it is still working. You can also see this in real life. A small business sells products in one shop, and only people nearby can buy. But when they move online, people from many places can buy. They do not work many more hours, but their result becomes much bigger. So the pattern is simple. You create something once, but it works many times. That is why some people grow faster, not because they work all the time, but because their work keeps working for them. So the real question is not how hard you work. The real question is, what is helping your work grow? Today, there are a few simple types of leverage. First is people. When you work alone, you can only do one thing at a time. But when you work with a team, many things can be done at the same time. Your result grows faster. Second is money. When you only save money, it grows slowly. But when you invest it, your money can grow by itself over time. Third is technology. For example, if you do the same task every day, it takes a lot of time. But if you use a simple tool, like a template or a system, you can finish your work faster and easier. And the fourth is digital products. For example, you teach one person for 1 hour, and when the hour ends, your work ends. But if you create a simple course or an ebook, many people can learn from it at the same time. You make it once, but it keeps working again and again. That's the power of leverage. Your work continues even when you are not working. It gives you more time, more energy, and more space to grow. So maybe today, don't only try harder. Start building something that can grow with you. And here is a simple truth. If you only get results when you are working, then you are still selling your time. And time is limited. So maybe today, ask yourself one question. Is my effort growing, or is it just repeating? Because if your effort feels heavy, like it is holding you down, maybe you don't need to try harder. Maybe you just need something to lift it. And that is leverage. When you find it, the same effort can bring you a very different result. Every time you say yes to the wrong task, you are secretly saying no to a great opportunity. Let's talk about a simple truth. Every time you spend your time and energy in the wrong place, you lose the chance to grow in the right place. Time is limited. You cannot do everything, so every choice matters. We all have the same 24 hours. If you spend your energy on things that don't matter, you have no energy left for things that do. Most people focus on being busy. They ask, how much can I do today? But if you want a different future, you must ask, what is the most important thing to do? This question helps you change your future. So, how do you know if you are in the right place? I used to think that working hard was the only secret, but I was wrong. Now I use 3 simple checks to see if I am moving forward or just staying busy. And maybe you can try them too. First, I look at the market. I ask myself, do people really need what I am doing? Think about it. If you are selling ice in the winter, no matter how hard you work, it is difficult to succeed. If people don't need your work, even your best effort will not change much. Second, I look at my strength. Does this work feel natural to me? For example, when I am making a podcast, time flies. It is not easy, but I feel excited. But if you always feel tired, bored, and forced, you might be trying to be someone else. You are at your best when you do what you are naturally good at. Third, I look at scalability. This is a big word, but I think of it as the ripple effect. If I stop working today, does everything stop too? If I only get paid when I am working, my growth will always be slow. But if I create something like a video or a system that can reach people while I sleep, then I have found a growing place. Here is a truth that I learned the hard way. Sometimes, we stay busy because it is easier than thinking. Being busy makes us feel good about ourselves. But blind effort is like running on a treadmill. You sweat a lot, but you are still in the same room. Don't just be someone who runs fast. Be someone who runs with a map. Let me ask you a personal question. Do you feel like you are giving 100% of your energy, but your life still looks the same? If yes, please stop for a moment. You don't need to give up. You just need to check your direction. Because one small change in where you go can change your whole world. So when you find the right place and the right leverage, something powerful happens. Time starts to work for you. But if you are in the wrong place, time does the opposite. It slowly takes your energy away. So time is not just passing. It is growing something. The question is, what is it growing for you? First, time can help your effort grow bigger. Small actions can become big results when you are in the right place. At the beginning, it feels slow. Nothing special happens. But after some time, things start to change. Your past work begins to help you. Your results continue, even when you rest. This is when time works for you. I can share a simple experience. When I first started making content, very few people listened. It felt like nothing was happening, but I kept going. After some time, people came back. Old episodes were still being played. Slowly, my past work started to support my present. That is when I understood. Time can grow your work if you are building the right thing. But time also has another side. It can take things away from you. When you spend time in the wrong place, you lose the chance to grow in the right place. And this is very quiet. You don't see it every day. But after many years, you look back and feel tired, and nothing really changed. That is the cost of time. There is one more idea. Time is like a filter. It shows the difference between working hard and working smart. If you push a wall every day, the wall will not move. But if you take time to build a better way, like a tool or a system, then later things become easier. Time becomes your partner, not your enemy. So here is the idea. Don't only ask how long you can keep going. Ask if what you are doing is worth your time. Because time will always grow something. The only question is, what it is growing for you. Take a moment and think. Is your time helping you move forward? Or is it keeping you in the same place? Because one small change today can change how time works for you tomorrow. So if time can grow your work or waste it, the next question is simple. Where should you put your effort? Why do some people work less but move forward faster, while others work more but stay in the same place? The answer is not just effort. It is about choosing the right place to use your energy. Here's a simple way to think. Look for a place where people truly need help, and where you have a small advantage. It does not need to be perfect. It just needs to be good enough to start. For example, many people talk about self-growth, but not everyone can explain it in a simple and calm way. Many people create content, but not everyone connects deeply. You don't need to be completely different. You just need to be a little more honest, a little more clear, and a little more you. Over time, that becomes your place. And remember this, you don't need a place with no competition. That place almost does not exist. Instead, find a place where people are already there, but not doing it very well. That is your chance. You don't need to be the best. You just need to be a little better every day. But at the same time, I also want to share a different view. There's no perfect answer for everyone. What works for one person may not work for another. Sometimes working hard in the same place for a long time can also lead to deep skill and real success. So this is not about saying one way is right and another way is wrong. It is about finding what fits you best. Because when the direction feels right, time will start to help you. Even small effort can grow into something big. I hope you can take these ideas and choose what is useful for you. Because in the end, there is no absolute right or wrong. These are just lessons and experiences we collect on our journey. And no matter what path you choose, nothing is more important than your own effort, your own willingness to keep going. Take a quiet moment and think about your work right now. Is it really your place, or are you just following the crowd? You don't need the perfect answer today. Just start noticing. Sometimes, one small change in direction can change your whole journey. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Choose the right place, and let time do its job. Because time cannot fix a bad plan, but it can make a good plan stronger. When your direction is right, time becomes your partner. Take care, and I will see you in the next episode. I want to start with a simple question. If one day your job was gone, who would you be? Not the title on your business card, not your role in a project, just you. And if your answer becomes a heavy silence, maybe something important has been forgotten. I remember one Sunday my schedule was completely empty. No deadlines, no plans, nothing I had to do. It should have felt peaceful, right? But instead I felt uneasy. I kept picking up my phone, putting it down, then picking it up again. And deep inside there was a quiet feeling. Guilt. Just because I was doing nothing. And in that moment, a question came to me. When did I forget how to be alone with myself? Why does an empty day feel so uncomfortable? And slowly I began to understand something. Somewhere along the way, we learn to let our work define us. We say things like, I am a manager. I am a business owner. I am his girlfriend. I am a mother. And slowly, these roles start to feel like who we are. But behind those roles, who are we when everything is quiet? And this does not only happen at work. The same thing happens after a breakup. When a relationship ends, we don't just lose a person. We lose habits, shared routines, and sometimes we lose the way we see ourselves. We suddenly becomes me. And that space can feel very empty and very unfamiliar. So if you are feeling this way, please know you are not alone. In this episode, I don't just want to share an idea with you. This is also something I am reminding myself, a gentle reminder that we are not here only to be productive, but to feel, to rest, and to be fully alive. And from here, let's slowly explore together why we feel this way and how we can come back to ourselves. We are often taught to improve ourselves like machines. Be faster, be more productive, be more efficient. And slowly, without noticing, we begin to measure our value by what we produce. So when we miss a deadline, we do not just feel tired, we feel like we are less than. And if you have ever felt this, you are not alone. Many people quietly feel this way. But life is not a factory, and you are not a machine. Your value is not equal to your output. The deeper problem is this. Many of us build our identity on things outside of us. A job, a title, a relationship. These things are not wrong. They are important parts of life. But when we place our whole identity there, things can become fragile. It is like building a house on land that is not fully yours to control. You can take care of it, you can invest in it, but you cannot fully decide what will happen to that land. When you say, I am a top employee, Your sense of value may depend on a manager, on numbers, on results that can change. When you say, "I am someone's partner," your sense of self may depend on another person's feelings, which you cannot fully control. This does not mean you did something wrong. It simply means you were trying to build your life in the best way you knew at that time. But when something changes, when the company no longer needs you, or when a relationship ends, it can feel like more than a loss. It can feel like a part of you is missing, and that feeling can be very confusing. There is also another quiet belief many of us carry. We start to see ourselves like objects. A pen is useful if it can write. A car is valuable if it can run. And slowly, we ask ourselves the same question. What did I do today? Instead of, how do I feel today? So when we rest, we may feel guilty. Have you ever tried to sit still, but your mind keeps telling you there is something you should be doing? If this happens to you, please know this is very common. Many people have learned this pattern without realizing it, so we keep ourselves busy. Not always because we need to, but because being busy makes us feel safe. And this is why, when we lose a job or a relationship, the fear is not only about money or loneliness. The deeper fear is this: if there is no role to play, no one to please, no goal to chase, then who am I? And what do I do with myself? If this question feels uncomfortable, that makes sense. Anyone in this situation would feel the same. But maybe this empty space is not here to hurt you. Maybe it is here to give you something back. A space where you do not have to perform all the time. A space where you can slowly learn to exist, not only as someone who does things, but as someone who simply is. And that is where a new connection with yourself can begin. These ideas about identity and self-worth may sound a bit far away, right? So let's look at something much simpler, your daily life. Because this problem does not only exist in big decisions, it shows up in small moments, in your habits, in things you do every day without noticing. Maybe this is how it shows up for you. You wake up, and the first thing you do is check your phone before you even take one slow breath. It feels like your mind is already running before your day even begins. You try to sit still for a few minutes, but something feels uncomfortable, like you are wasting time. So you quickly find something to do just to feel okay again. Even before work starts, you open your laptop, not because you need to, but because you don't want to feel lazy. And at the end of the day, when your body is already tired, you still push yourself to do one more thing, just to feel like the day was enough. And even when you stop, your mind does not stop. You are eating, but still thinking about work. You are watching something, but not really watching. Before you sleep, your mind brings back unfinished tasks, and you feel that quiet pressure again. Even on your day off, there is a voice inside that says, you should be doing something useful. After a while, you start to measure yourself in a very quiet way. When you do a lot, you feel like you matter. When you do less, you feel like something is wrong with you. When there is no plan, no to-do list, the day feels empty, like you don't know what to do with yourself anymore. And in relationships, it becomes even quieter. You slowly stop doing things you once enjoyed. When you make a choice, you think about what the other person would like. You adjust, not in one big moment, but in many small ones. So when the relationship ends, it is not only about losing someone. It is about waking up one day and not knowing what to do with your own time, not knowing what you enjoy, not knowing who you are without that we. And the strangest part is this: you are not deeply sad, but you are not really happy either. Everything looks fine from the outside. You can smile, you can talk, you can do your work, but inside, something feels a little empty, a little distant. And when someone asks, "What do you like these days?" you pause. Not because you don't want to answer, but because you truly don't know. If this feels familiar, it does not mean you are broken. It simply means that somewhere along the way, you slowly moved away from yourself. Not all at once, but in many small, quiet moments that no one noticed, even you. So if you feel like you have lost yourself, coming back may be simpler than you think. It does not start with a big decision. It starts with a small shift, living a little closer to your own heart. For a long time, you may have learned to measure your life by results, by promotions, by money, by how much you achieve. But that is only one part of life. A full life is not only about moving forward, it is also about feeling alive while you are living it. So instead of trying to fix everything, you can begin in a very simple way. Spend time with yourself again. You can think of it like this. Start dating yourself. Not in a complicated way, just in small, honest moments. You take yourself out for a coffee. You walk while listening to a song you truly enjoy. You try again something you once loved, but slowly stopped doing. Maybe because someone else did not like it. And here is something important. Each of us has a creative soul that needs to be cared for. When you spend time alone doing something you truly enjoy, you are not wasting time. You are recharging that part of you. You are investing in your original self. Because in the end, the longest and most important relationship you will ever have in your life is the one with the person who is listening to these words right now. That is you. And here is something interesting. Many of us are used to doing things only to get a result. But when you are with yourself, try doing something with no purpose at all. Draw something, even if it looks bad. Dance, even if no one is watching. As Naval Ravikant once shared, when you stop doing things only to achieve something, you stop being just a worker. And you become an artist of your own life. And maybe you wonder, why is something as simple as having coffee alone important? Because in that moment, you don't have to ask, do they like this place? Or am I doing the right thing? For once, you just listen to yourself. That quiet space is important because silence is where your inner voice becomes clear again. So these small moments are not useless. They are signals that tell your mind, this is me, this is what I like, this is what feels right. So don't treat these moments like tasks on a to-do list. Don't rush them. You can see them as a small ritual of coming back. When you drink your coffee, just drink your coffee. When you walk, just walk. No phone, no pressure, just you and this moment. And when you allow yourself to live like this again, something inside you slowly begins to wake up. Not all at once, but enough for you to feel a little more alive and a little more like yourself again. Before you move forward, there is one gentle step you need to take. Forgive your past self. Many of us are very hard on ourselves. When things end badly, like a breakup or burnout, we look back and say, why did I do that? Why was I so weak? But we often forget something important. At that time, your intention was good. You were not trying to hurt yourself. You were trying to love, to hold on, to build something meaningful. Maybe you blame yourself for loving too much. But look again. You were just trying to care deeply. Maybe you blame yourself for working until you were exhausted. But you were trying to build a better future. That was not weakness. That was responsibility. That was hope. The problem is, we often become the strictest judge of our own life. If a friend made the same mistake, you would understand them. You would be kind. But when it is you give no space for error, no space to be human. But being human means you are allowed not to know everything. You are allowed to try and fail. You are allowed to learn slowly. You do not need to be perfect to deserve your own love. So maybe, right now, you can pause for a moment. Close your eyes if you feel safe. Think about the version of you from 1 year ago, or 3 years ago. The one who cried quietly in the bathroom. The one who stayed up late, waiting for a message that never came. Instead of saying, "Why was I like that?" Try saying this instead. "Thank you for trying to protect me in the best way you knew at that time. You did your best. Now you can rest. I will take it from here." Do not use today's result to judge yesterday's effort. You did not know what you know now, and that is okay. And from this place of kindness, you can begin again. You do not need to fix your whole life today. Just start small. After work, give yourself 5 minutes. No phone, no pressure, just you and your breath. Let your mind slowly move from work mode back to me mode. Because you were not born just to work. You are here to feel, to rest, and to live. So tonight, be a little softer with yourself. You are not lost. You are simply on your way back home. And before you sleep, can you ask yourself one simple question? What is one small thing that feels like me? And maybe just start there. And wherever you are right now, I hope you give yourself a little kindness tonight. I hope you rest a little deeper and breathe a little softer. And I hope slowly you begin to feel like yourself again. Thank you for choosing to be here and for giving yourself permission to just breathe. Have you ever noticed how quickly we become our own worst enemy? You miss a deadline, you forget a small detail, or maybe you just feel off one morning. And immediately that voice inside starts whispering, "You're not working hard enough. You're falling behind. Why can't you just get it together?" We live in a world that tells us to do more and be more. So we start to believe that if we are hard on ourselves, we will stay motivated. But the truth is, you cannot punish yourself into a life you love. This habit of self-blame is like trying to drive a car with the handbrake on. It drains your energy, kills your creativity, and slowly burns you out. In today's episode, we are not just talking about a nice idea. We are talking about a survival skill for the modern world. Finding stillness. Why is this so important? Because when you are stuck in self-blame, you are in survival mode. Your brain cannot solve problems clearly. It can only feel fear, pressure, and danger. But when you learn to find stillness first, you help your brain return to growth mode. It is the difference between reacting to your life and actually leading your life. Today, I will show you how to build a quiet space inside yourself that no bad day can break. We will explore 3 simple daily shifts to calm your mind, soothe your emotions, and protect your energy. Because when you learn to be still, you do not just work better, you live better. So take a deep breath. For the next few minutes, the world can wait. Together, we will learn how to stop the blame and start the healing. Let's begin. Have you ever felt like your mind is too noisy? When your mind is full, every small problem feels like a big mountain. A simple mistake can make you feel like you are failing at life. But here is the truth. You are not the problem. Your mind is just too full. Imagine a glass of water with sand inside. If you shake the glass, the water becomes cloudy and you cannot see through it. Is the water dirty? No, it is just moving too much. Your mind is the same. When you have too many worries, you cannot see yourself clearly. You start to believe your negative thoughts. Think about a computer. When too many apps are open, it becomes slow. You don't say the computer is broken. You know it just needs to rest. Your mind also needs to close the apps and rest. This is why stillness is so important. Stillness is the small space between what happens and what you believe. Without stillness, I am tired becomes I am a failure. But with one deep breath, I am tired just stays as I am tired, and I need a rest. Stillness does not fix everything in 1 minute. but it stops you from hurting yourself. It lets the sand settle so the water can become clear again. You don't need to be a different person to feel okay. You just need to give yourself space to breathe. Before you try to fix your life, try to find your stillness. Because in the quiet, you will see the truth. You are doing much better than you think. Sometimes we think being hard on ourselves is motivation. It pushes you to wake up early, work harder, and chase your goals. But if you look closely, the energy behind it is very heavy. You are moving fast, not because you love where you are going, but because you hate where you are right now. This kind of motivation can work for a while, but it will slowly burn you out. Why? Because no matter how much you achieve, it never feels like enough. You lose weight, and a voice says, "Not enough." You earn more money, and it says, "Still not enough." Self-hatred doesn't give you a finish line. It only moves the goal further away. The real question is, can you become better without attacking yourself? Can you grow while still being kind to who you are today? My friend, you are not a project that needs to be perfect. You are a human being. Think about a plant. If you give it poison instead of water, it cannot grow. You are the same. You cannot grow well in an environment of shame. You need a foundation of care. Real self-care is not just about a warm bath or a day off. It is much deeper. It is about how you talk to your mind, how you handle your emotions, and the rhythm of your daily life. When you ignore these three parts, you become your own worst judge. You see yourself as a problem to be fixed. But when you care for your mind, your emotions, and your rhythm, everything changes. You stop seeing a problem, and you start seeing a person who needs support. So, let's begin with the first part, your mind. Your mind is not always quiet. Sometimes it becomes the loudest place in your life. You make one small mistake and suddenly your mind starts talking. Why did you do that? You should know better. You are falling behind. Maybe you are not good enough. And before you even understand what happened, one small moment becomes a whole story about who you are. But my friend, this is where we need to pause, because your mind does not only describe your life. Sometimes it creates the meaning of your life. The same mistake can become a lesson, or it can become a weapon you use against yourself. The same difficult day can become a sign that you need rest, or it can become a painful story that says, "I am weak." That is why taking care of your mind matters so much. It does not mean forcing yourself to be positive. It does not mean smiling when your heart feels heavy. It does not mean saying, "Everything is fine," when deep inside you know it is not fine. That is not healing. That is pretending. Taking care of your mind means learning to think more fairly. A harsh mind says, "I failed, so I am a failure." A fair mind says, "I made a mistake, and I can learn from this." A harsh mind says, "I feel tired, so I must be lazy." A fair mind says, "I feel tired, so maybe I need to care for my body." A harsh mind says, "I am not where I should be." A fair mind says, "I am still growing, and one small step is still a step." Can you feel the difference? One voice makes you smaller. The other voice gives you space to breathe. And this matters because the way you speak to yourself becomes the emotional home you live in. If your mind is always judging you, you will never feel safe inside yourself. Even when life is quiet, your inner world will still feel like a battlefield. But when your mind becomes a little kinder, a little clearer, and a little more honest, something soft begins to return. You do not need to run from yourself anymore. You can stand beside yourself. So maybe stillness does not begin when all your thoughts disappear. Maybe stillness begins when you stop believing every harsh thought as if it is the truth. When you are tired, your mind may tell darker stories. When your heart is heavy, your mind may become less fair. So pause before you believe it. Pause before you turn one mistake into your identity. Pause before you call yourself lazy, broken, behind, or not enough. Ask yourself gently, is this thought helping me understand myself, or is it only hurting me? Because not every thought deserves your trust. Some thoughts are wisdom. Some thoughts are fear. Some thoughts are just noise. And stillness helps you hear the difference. After the mind, we come to the emotions. When your emotions are strong, your thoughts can become very harsh. A small mistake feels like a big failure. A simple problem feels like your whole life is falling apart. But this is not the truth. This is only your emotions speaking very loudly. When you are tired, sad, or afraid, your mind only shows you the painful part of the story. This is why the first step is not to fix everything. The first step is to calm your emotional storm. You don't need to force yourself to be happy. You don't need to smile when your heart is heavy. Sometimes peace simply means allowing yourself to feel what you feel. Many of us fall into a trap called toxic positivity. We believe we must feel excited and full of energy every single day. But real life isn't like that. Some mornings you wake up feeling heavy or slow. My friend, one heavy feeling does not make you a bad person. A cloudy morning doesn't mean the sky is broken. Our emotions are like the weather. Some days are sunny, and some days have heavy rain. The rain is not a mistake. It is just part of nature. Your feelings are the same. You don't need to fight them. The kindest thing you can say is, I feel this right now, and that is okay. The biggest mistake we make is trying to control our feelings too much. When we are sad, we feel guilty about being sad. When we are anxious, we become more anxious because we think something is wrong with us. Now one emotion becomes two. We feel exhausted because we are fighting ourselves. It is like trying to stop an ocean wave with your hands. The wave still comes, and you only get more tired. What if you stop fighting the wave? What if you let it come and let it pass? Instead of judging your feeling, try to name it. Are you disappointed? Scared? Tired? Lonely? When you name a feeling, it becomes less scary. It is no longer a big dark cloud. It is something you can understand. You can see that fear comes from needing safety, or tiredness comes from carrying too much for too long. Remember, you are not your emotion. You are the person listening to it. Responsibility says, I can learn from this. Self-blame says, I am the problem. Responsibility helps you grow, but self-blame only makes you feel smaller. So before you judge yourself, let your heart breathe. Peace doesn't mean you never feel sad. Peace means you stay gentle with yourself when sadness comes. If you feel something heavy today, do not rush to fix it. Just pause and remember, this is only a feeling. It is not your whole life. You are not weak or broken. You are a human being having a hard moment, and every hard moment deserves kindness, not punishment. After you calm your emotions, the next step is to look at your rhythm. Sometimes we blame ourselves for being weak, but maybe the real problem is not who we are. Maybe the real problem is the speed of our life. Do you ever feel like you are always late, even when no one is chasing you? Many of us wake up and check our phones before we even know how we feel. We rush to work. We rush to eat. We rush to finish one task, just to jump into the next one. And even when the day is over, our bodies sit down, but our minds are still running. When your life has no pause, your mind has no space to breathe. It cannot tell the difference between a small problem and a real crisis. Everything feels urgent. Everything feels heavy. Everything feels personal. And this is when self-blame becomes so easy. A slow morning feels like laziness. A tired afternoon feels like weakness. A small mistake feels like proof that you are not good enough. But my friend, these thoughts are not always the truth. Sometimes they are just the sound of a tired heart. Think of your mind like a computer with too many tabs open. One tab is for work. One tab is for family. One tab is for money. One tab is for the future. And one tab is still replaying an old mistake from yesterday. After a while, the computer becomes slow. Not because it is broken, but because it is overloaded. You are the same. When you rush all day, your body starts to feel like everything is an emergency. You lose your patience more easily. You judge yourself more quickly, and you forgive yourself more slowly. That is why slowing down does not mean being lazy. It means you stop treating yourself like a machine. It means you remember that you are a human being. A slower rhythm gives your body time to feel safe again. And when your body feels safe, your mind does not need to attack you so quickly. Maybe you can start with one small pause. In the morning, before you touch your phone, take one slow breath. Put your hand on your heart and gently ask yourself, how am I feeling today? Remind yourself, I am a person before I am a worker. I am a human being before I am a list of tasks. Or after work, give yourself 5 quiet minutes. Drink some water. Stretch your shoulders. Let your mind understand that the work is over. Without this space, the stress from work may follow you home like a shadow. You do not need to be perfect to deserve rest. You do not need to finish everything before you are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to slow down before you break down. Self-blame grows in a rushed life, but kindness grows in the space you create. So today, hold your rhythm gently. Peace is not only something you find in a quiet room, it is something you build into your day, one small pause at a time. Now let's see how your mind, your emotions, and your rhythm work together. They are like a team. When one is tired, the others suffer too. If you wake up tired, your mind may become more critical. When your mind is harsh, your emotions feel heavier. And when your emotions are heavy, your whole day can feel harder to move through. It becomes a painful loop. But here's the beautiful truth. You can start a new loop. When you speak to yourself with kindness, your heart feels safer. When your heart feels safe, your day becomes calmer. And when your day becomes calmer, your mind becomes clearer. Little by little, you are building a new relationship with yourself. Not based on pressure, not based on fear, but based on care. You don't have to hate yourself to become better. Think about it. Do you use discipline as a weapon to hurt yourself, or as a gift to support yourself? Real growth is not about fixing a broken person. It is about supporting a human being. So, the next time you feel that heavy urge to blame yourself, I want you to pause and check 3 things. First, look at your mind. Ask yourself, is the story I'm telling myself actually fair right now? We often say things to ourselves that we would never say to a friend. So remember, your thoughts are just stories. They are not always the truth. Next, check in with your emotions. What are you actually feeling under all that self-blame? Don't try to fix it right away. Just give it a name. Is it sadness? Tiredness? Fear? Or maybe loneliness? When you name a feeling, it loses some of its power over you. It becomes something you can hold, instead of something that is attacking you. And finally, look at your rhythm. Ask yourself, have I been treating myself like a human being today, or like a machine? Did you give yourself a moment to breathe? Did you drink enough water? Did you have even one quiet minute just for yourself? This practice is not about being perfect. It is about being curious. By checking these 3 things, you stop the blame and start the understanding. Small care is still care. A glass of water, one deep breath, or one kind sentence to yourself. These are all beginnings. My friend, you are never a problem to be fixed. You are a person who needs more patience, more safety, and more care. A better version of you does not begin with the thought, I am not enough. It begins with this quiet truth. I am already worthy of care, and because of that, I choose to grow. So before you call yourself lazy, ask if you are tired. Before you call yourself weak, ask if you have been carrying too much. Before you blame yourself for not doing better, ask if you have been giving yourself what you need to begin again. You don't have to fight yourself to grow. You can grow from stillness. You can grow from love. You can grow from a place inside you that finally feels safe. Take a slow breath. Take care of your mind, your heart, and your days. And little by little, you will find your way home. Most people think change comes from big motivation. They wait for a perfect day when they feel strong and ready. But I don't believe that anymore. I believe something different. Real change doesn't start with big feelings. It starts with very small actions. You do them again and again. You do them even when you are tired or when it feels boring. Your life is not built by one big decision. It is built by what you do every single day. Small habits may seem unimportant, but over time, they grow and connect. This is the compound effect. Small things done daily will change your life in a big way. In today's episode, we will explore this together. We won't talk about changing everything at once. Instead, we will look at how small habits are quietly shaping your future right now. Maybe after today, you will see your daily life in a new way. Small choices work like compound interest. In finance, a small amount grows over time when you keep adding to it. Your daily choices work the same way. If you read for 15 minutes a day, after 1 year you have more than 90 hours of learning. If you spend 15 minutes scrolling without thinking, you also spend about 90 hours, but you get very little back. The time is the same, but the result is very different. The same idea applies to your thoughts and your skills. If you spend a few minutes each day thinking in a positive way, you slowly train your mind to feel calmer and more hopeful. Over time, you become more confident and it becomes easier to handle problems. But if you spend that time thinking negative thoughts again and again, you may start to feel stressed, tired, and stuck, even when nothing big is wrong. Your mind learns what you repeat. The same is true for skills. If you spend 15 minutes a day learning something new, like a language, writing, or any skill, you slowly improve. After a few months, you can see real progress. After 1 year, you are clearly better than before. But if you don't use that time to learn, your skill stays the same. So the difference is not talent or luck. It is how you use your small moments every day. Over time, these small moments grow, connect, and become your results. This is why the gap between people is not from one big jump. It comes from what they do with their 24 hours day after day. We often believe big change needs big effort, but in reality, it comes from small choices you make every day. One choice feels small, but when you repeat it again and again, it becomes powerful. Think about this. When you wake up early to exercise, even when you feel tired, you are not only burning calories, you are voting for the identity of a disciplined person. And when you repeat this vote many times, something important happens. You stop fighting so hard to make the right choice because it becomes who you are. One good choice in the morning often leads to more good choices during the day. If you start your day by making your bed or drinking a glass of water, you create a small win. This small win gives you a good feeling and helps your brain release dopamine, a chemical that supports motivation. Because of that, it becomes easier to eat a healthy meal, focus on your work, and stay on track. So daily choices matter for 3 simple reasons. First, they build your habits. Small choices today become your habits tomorrow, and your habits will build your future. Second, they shape how you see yourself. Every time you make a choice, you are telling yourself what kind of person you are. And third, they are under your control. Even when the world changes around you, you can always control your own actions. So don't wait for a perfect moment to change your life. Start with one small choice today. It can be very simple, but you must do it on purpose. Then repeat it tomorrow and the next day. Over time, these small actions will quietly shape your future. One day, you will look back and realize your life changed, not because of one big moment, but because of what you chose to do every single day. And now, you may be thinking, if small choices are so important, how can we actually make better ones every day? Because knowing is one thing, but doing is another. Sometimes you feel tired, sometimes you don't feel motivated, and sometimes you just want to choose what feels easy. So let's make it simple. There is one idea that can really help you start, and it is called the 2-minute rule. When you begin a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes. If you want to read more, start with 1 page. If you want to exercise, start with 5 push-ups. If you want to meditate, just sit quietly for 1 minute. This works because the hardest part is not the habit, it is the beginning. When something feels easy, your mind has no reason to say no. You remove the pressure, and you make it simple to start. And when you start, something interesting happens. It becomes easier to continue. I remember a time when I felt very unmotivated to work. I had many things to do, but I kept delaying. One day I told myself, just sit at the desk for 2 minutes. You don't need to finish anything. So I sat down and opened my laptop. After 2 minutes, I thought, maybe I can do a little more. Then 2 minutes became 5. 5 became 10. And before I knew it, I was working for almost an hour. That day felt completely different. Not because I forced myself, but because I made it easy to start. I also remember a runner I once spoke to. He had won many races, but his daily habit was very simple. Every morning, he placed his running shoes next to his bed. Even when he was still sleepy, he would put on his shoes right away. No thinking, no excuses. And he made a small promise to himself. I will just go outside and run for 2 minutes. Only 2 minutes. But almost every time once he started, he kept going. And because of this simple rule, he was able to run consistently for many years. This is how small habits grow. You don't need to do a lot. You just need to show up. When you repeat this simple start every day, it becomes a habit. And once it becomes a habit, it feels natural. Like something you just do. So don't focus on big results right now. Focus on starting small. Ask yourself, what is one habit you can do in 2 minutes today? Then tell yourself, I can do this. And just begin. And now, there is one more thing that helps you stay consistent. Especially on days when you feel tired. Because we all have days with low energy. On those days, the goal is not to do a lot. The goal is to make it easy to continue. One simple way to do this is to reduce friction. This means you make your habit easier before you even start. For example, if you want to exercise in the morning, put your workout clothes and shoes next to your bed the night before. If you want to drink more water, place a bottle on your desk or next to your bed so you see it right away. If you want to eat healthy, cut fruits and keep them in the fridge where they are easy to grab. If you want to read, leave a book on your pillow so you will see it before you sleep. If you want to write, open your document and write one simple sentence before you close your laptop. If you want to spend less time on your phone, put your phone in another room or turn off notifications for a few hours. When you prepare like this, you don't need strong motivation. You just follow the path you already created for yourself. To be honest, at first I did not really believe this idea. It felt too simple to work. I used to think I needed more discipline, more effort, more motivation. But when I tried it, even in a very small way, I started to see the difference. On days when I felt tired, I still showed up, because it was easy. I didn't need to think too much. And slowly I began to trust the process. I saw that change does not come from forcing yourself, but from making things easier for yourself. And that was the moment I felt fully convinced. And on low energy days, remember this: it is okay to do less, but don't do nothing. If you can't run 5 kilometers, just walk for 5 minutes. If you can't study for 1 hour, just review 1 page. If you can't clean the whole room, just clean 1 small area. The goal is to keep the habit alive. Because when you stop completely, it becomes much harder to start again. But when you keep going, even in a small way, you are still moving forward. As James Clear said in Atomic Habits, you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This means your success does not come from what you want, but from what you repeat and how easy you make it to repeat. So make it easier for your future self. Think about tomorrow. What is one small thing you can prepare today to make your next step easier? And now, as we come to the end of today's talk, I hope you can take one simple idea with you. You don't need to change everything at once. You just need to start small, make it easy, and keep going. Some days will feel light, some days will feel heavy, and that is completely okay. What matters is that you don't stop. Even a small step still moves you forward. I hope you can be a little more gentle with yourself, a little more patient, and trust that your small daily choices are quietly building something meaningful. Wherever you are right now, you are not behind. You are just in your own process. So take a deep breath, choose one small action for today, and begin. I'm really glad you are here, and I wish you a calm mind, a strong heart, and the courage to keep going, one small step at a time.